Hi, I'm Lisa from Lori's Country Cottage, and welcome to How Tuesdays. Today, I'm going to show you how to use Quilter's Clappers to get flat, crisp seams. Join me. We carry two kinds of clappers in our store. The first is from the Gypsy Quilter. It comes in two sizes, a smaller one and then the larger clapper. Both of them have a nice groove along the side so it's easy to hang on to, and it's like getting two sizes in one tool because you have a narrow end and a wide end. This large Gypsy Quilter clapper is the one I use the most. Let me show you another kind. We also carry the Jackson Woodworks clappers, so a 6-inch square and also a 9-inch square. All four of the clappers are unfinished oak and they're heavy. I'll show you. It's not a light piece of furniture. So they are unfinished wood so that we don't get any chemicals or debris on our fabric. And let me show you where and how I use them. One of the most typical places to use a wood clapper is when we're shortening jeans. And you know the bulky seams that we have to sew over. And even if you don't have a hump jumper or a jean-a-majig, the clapper is great because you can fold your seam over, take your clapper, and you simply pound it like it's a hammer. You can also press it first. For jeans, I usually don't because I don't like it pressed there, and you're just pounding that seam flat. I also use my clappers a lot because I'm a bag maker. So often either the handle seam or the side seam of the bag you're making have a lot of bulk. This is a layer of cork, a layer of soft and stable interfacing fabric, and then it's folded over. And now I want my sewing machine to stitch it. Well, if I want it to be a nice seam, I lay it on, I do use my woolly felted mat so that it's protected underneath. On a bag, I would lay a piece of fabric on top so as not to damage my fabric. And then I take, again, my Gypsy clapper and I pound that seam, and you're just pounding it flat. Again, I don't use an iron when I'm using it for bag making, usually because I'm just trying to take the bulk out of the seam. So I use this a lot for bag making. It also helps to flatten your handles if you're using cork and things like that. For quilting, the wooden clappers are used to flatten bulky seams and intersections. But they also work nice to create a nice crisp seam. So these are some blocks from my summer sew along this year. And how I use my clapper on these blocks is I simply, as I was pressing my seams, gave it a good press with my hot iron. Then you clap it and leave it. You can use steam or not. That's totally up to you. And what it does is it provides weight, traps the heat in there, and it makes a nice crisp seam. So I use my clapper a lot when I'm doing blocks like this, and I like to flatten my seams. The square clappers are great when you're working with blocks. So this block has a lot of intersections in it. That center is quite bulky. I've pressed my seams open to help with the bulk, but the clapper is going to make it even better. For this, for a block, I almost always use steam. So I'm going to steam my block, and right now I'm just concentrating on the center, and then I'm going to clap it. And I'm going to let it sit and cool. And that's going to give me a nice flat intersection in the middle, beautifully flat seams. And then I will go and steam these outer corners kind of one at a time and clap them again. Now I could also use for the corners, oh yeah, that's nice, the small square. And what you're doing is you're trapping the heat and the steam, adding weight to really flatten those seams and intersections. Let me give you a look. So a beautifully sharp and crisp block. And you can see the corner that I didn't clap is not quite as flat. So that's how I use the clappers. This is great for blocks, small blocks, multifunctional, because I can use this also on my center seams, either way, but it's also good for small spaces. This is good for small blocks and really easy to handle. Thanks for joining me for How Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed learning about Quilter's Clappers. As I said, this is my favorite that I use for bag making and bulky seams and even quilting. And I use the large 9-inch square clapper for my blocks. Thanks for joining me today.